talking franchises here, bud.
Hey, welcome. We got an extra show this week because yesterday on the 4th of July, Logan and I both celebrated the birth of our nation. Not by going to see Birth of the Nation by D.W. Griffith or that other one by that guy who got canceled because he raped someone in college and then they killed themselves. But we're going to talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. All right. What a film this was. The fifth in the Indiana Jones franchise. He's old now, but sometimes he's young. And no Shia, but Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I'm your host. I'm always here. The D Train, Daniel Ehrenberg, and over there, Logan B. Adair. What's going on?
Hey guys, welcome back to The Franchise, your favorite podcast. And this week, I have to admit, the Indiana Jones is not really a franchise that I have a lot of love or affection for. I didn't grow up watching them a whole bunch. I've seen them all maybe.
No Time for Love, Dr. Adair.
I've seen them maybe twice each. And so that's where I'm coming into this. I'm not a huge fan. If this was Henry, he'd be very excited for this, but
that's true. And Henry was always more into Indiana Jones than I was, too. I kind of rediscovered them when we did it for the podcast. And I really fell in love with Raiders. I was like, God damn, people are right about this movie. It's fucking
that's
perfect.
A great movie.
Yeah. But I think they get progressively worse to me. Like some people will tell you Last Crusade's really great, but I'm not big into it. I think it's a goof fest. But I like Temple of Doom.
They all are. It's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, but I think like if I'm gonna ever rewatch an Indiana Jones movie, I'll watch Raiders and Temple of Doom, then I'll stop.
So you like Temple of Doom more than Last Crusade?
Yeah, by a fair margin. And
okay. I wanted to say, I don't believe this is true, but I think someone could make the argument if they wanted to that these movies go from 5 stars, 4 stars, 3 stars, 2 star, 1 star. I'm not saying that's true, but I think that somebody could make that argument. And I'm not sure how many other franchises are like that.
I think you really could make that argument. Like, I think I gave Temple of Doom a 3 when we covered it for the podcast, but like I could see going 4 on that one.
Yeah,
I might
I'm just putting it out
if
there.
I watch it again today. Yeah, 5, 4, except it's the wrong order. 5, 4, 3, 1, 2.
I think you could.
Not to spoil my feelings on not. I don't think you can argue that Dial of Destiny is not a 1.
Okay.
All right. Do you think it's a 1?
No, I'm not. I don't. I'm just saying that I think when I was thinking about this franchise as a whole, I was thinking. I try to think about like what's unique about certain franchises, and I think that's what's unique about this one.
All right. So Indiana Jones, that's our takes on it. But it's one of the biggest franchises ever. People love these movies. Indiana Jones, when Harrison Ford dies, we talk about this a lot on the show. When the headline, it's gonna like when Lance Reddick died, it was like The Wire and John Wick actor Lance Reddick dies, even though he's got like 100 credits on IMDb. It's Harrison Ford. It's gonna be like Han Solo, Indiana Jones, dead.
You in that order? You think Han Solo is bigger than Indiana Jones?
No, probably Indiana Jones first. Indiana Jones and Han Solo actor. Harrison
I think so.
Ford,
I think so too.
Dead.
I think Indiana Jones is first.
Yeah, and then like you'll sign on to some of these nerd websites, fucking Screen Rant or what's the other one?
IndieWire, is that one?
That's one, yeah, for sure. Some of those will have like Slash Film. That's the one I was trying to think of. They'll go to it'll say Rick Deckard, but fuck that. Mainstream newspapers and websites, CNN, it's gonna say Indiana Jones and fucking Han Solo.
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Yeah,
this movie's tanking at the box office. You know about that? Not doing very good.
It's not
very well. Do I say very well in that
Yeah,
instance?
yeah, you got that right. It's not tanking. It wouldn't be tanking
It
for
cost
like a
$300
normal
million
movie.
to make.
That's the problem. Why would they spend $300 million on this?
I don't know.
I mean, Harrison Ford is roughly 106 years old. And I mean, how old is he actually? He's got to be in his 80s.
I believe he's 82,
82. All right.
maybe
So
81.
he's like the age Stan Lee was when he was making all those cameos in the early MCU movies.
Oh, he's 80.
And
I'm sorry.
80. All right. Well, he's old as fuck, dude. Like 80-year-olds. I mean, it's like I'm not saying like 80-year-olds can't be in action movies, but Indiana Jones is a spry character. He's running around everywhere, man. Like when Phoebe Waller
He punches Indiana Jones. He doesn't do that a lot here. Here he just rides a horse, right? Drives a car, goes underwater.
At the end, Phoebe Waller Bridge punches him, and I'm like, don't punch him so hard that you're gonna knock him out. You could kill him.
Yeah, thank God that didn't happen.
Yeah, I know. Then you really should just leave him in the past, right? That
Yeah.
would then she'd never be charged for murder. Right? That's the perfect crime. Go back in time and murder somebody.
Not Indiana Jones, though.
No, I'm not saying she should have killed Indiana Jones. We all love him. So I mean, the last one of these was 2008, and everyone hated it, right? But it made a shit ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Kingdom of the Crystal. Thanks for the input. And Shia LaBeouf was introduced as Indiana Jones's son, Mutt, and he was gonna take over the franchise. He's the Jeremy Renner of this franchise, where
They realized in that movie that wasn't going to happen because at the end he keeps the hat.
Yeah.
So they didn't really pass it off to Shia.
No, I don't think they were gonna pass it off, but I do think like Shia was supposed to become increasingly important until
Absolutely.
Harrison Ford could slip out. But now they killed Mutt.
Yeah, he died in the war.
Yeah, we're gonna be spoiling the fuck out of this movie. So
Of course we are. That's what we do.
Yeah,
Do we ever not
yeah.
spoil the movies?
No, I'm just telling you, like, if you haven't seen Indiana Jones yet, you really care about, whether Mutt lives or dies, shit like that. Like, turn it off.
Yeah. He's dead, by
Yeah.
the way.
Yeah, he's fucking dead, dude. What war did he die in?
The War of 1812.
No, shut the fuck up.
I
Because
don't know.
like Marion and Indiana Jones are in mourning over Mutt's death at war, and that's why they're split up at the beginning of this movie because they can't deal with their emotions over it. And but what war would that have been? The Korean War?
Vietnam. Mutt was killed in action in Vietnam, and Jones's grief almost led to Marion leaving him until Helena Shaw managed to bring them back in body and spirit.
Yeah, okay. I guess that makes sense. The movie takes place in 1969, right? Because
Nice.
the Apollo 11 astronauts, famously Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin, and the other guy, they're coming down from the moon, right?
Yeah, they
That's
sort of
like
make
what that big
Indiana
parade is
Jones
for.
like Woody in this movie. How he's like an old time cowboy, but then the space and everyone got obsessed with space cowboys, and then he was
You're
like,
right.
"No, remember me, Indiana Jones." He's sort of like Woody in this movie. I liked that aspect.
He even rides a horse. And
Exactly.
wears the hat.
You should have said, "Ride like the wind, bullseye."
He should have said that.
I like that part where he was like, "Hold my horse."
Yeah, I like that too. I gotta say, that's one of the best parts of the movie, that horse race.
Yeah, I thought you would have hated that because it was a CGI New York subway.
It looked good though.
Yeah.
I don't know that it was. Was that a CGI subway?
Do you think they had a real subway chasing the horse?
I'm just saying, I've been in that 59th Street station. It looks exactly like that.
All right.
I think
this
they
movie's
shot
really
down there.
dark. I'll be honest. I could maybe it was my screen. I don't think it was. But um I think this movie looks pretty bad. Especially like Indiana Jones movies, they all look pretty good. Maybe the last one doesn't look so good. But I don't know. I just thought this looked like a complete mess. Especially the first however long we're spending with young.
Well,
Young
that
Indy.
part, I mean, feed that to the wolves. As far as
Completely
I'm
lifeless.
concerned.
I was so bored. And I was like, I have like 2 hours of more of this. I
Yeah,
didn't know if
it's a
I'd make it through at that point, to be honest.
I felt that way too. It's a 2.5 hour movie. It starts with almost a half hour of young Indiana Jones, played by Harrison Ford, and he's de-aged. And if I could erase one filmmaking technique from filmmaking
Mhm.
today, it would be this.
Me
I
too.
fucking hate this. It always looks like shit. I'm always taken completely out of the movie. And filmmakers are just like, I mean, it'd be fine if like for like one quick flashback, you're like, oh, fun. But it's an entire 30-minute action sequence with Harrison Ford just like running around, and he doesn't move the same. He has old man movements.
An old man voice, but young man face.
I've complained about this before. What was the last time we did this de-aging thing?
Oh, I don't know.
Because
I feel like we do it all the time.
I
Every
remember
few
saying
weeks.
this. I remember saying this on the podcast that they de-age the face and the body, but not the fucking voice. And Harrison Ford, we just watched American Graffiti, dude. He did not sound like that back then. He didn't sound like that in like What Lies Beneath. That's a recent development. He's an old fucking man, and so he has developed this growl. All right, and that's fine for old Indiana Jones, but not for young. We know what young Indiana Jones sounds like.
Yeah, it was a problem. It was a huge problem. But it wasn't the only problem. That wasn't my like that didn't take me out of the first 30 minutes. I thought the whole thing was very stupid.
I did too. And what is with James Mangold's obsession with people fighting on top of trains?
Yeah, he loves it. But I do want to say the thing. I think this movie, like to talk like if you're going to compare it to the Wolverine, that movie gets worse as it goes along. This movie gets way better as it goes on.
Absolutely.
Right? The end of this movie is awesome.
Oh, I don't agree with that.
Oh, I fucking loved it. I thought it was hilarious. Like I was so bored, and then I perked up for the last like 20 minutes of the movie.
No, I just think the first half hour was like cut it out of my life. Like if I ever rewatch this movie, I'll skip it.
Yeah, really. It adds nothing. Like we even like we see enough of Toby Jones that we don't even need that part. Like later in the movie through flashbacks and whatever.
Right. If the entire de-aging of Harrison Ford was just that one flashback where he's talking to Toby Jones, I think I'd be okay with it.
Yeah. Me same.
Yeah. And Toby Jones from the villain in this, Mads Mikkelsen, he reminded me of the Red Skull, and I was like, oh, Toby Jones, he was that guy's henchman.
Mads Mikkelsen, he's a bad guy a lot these days, right?
Always has been. I mean, what, you cast him as a hero?
Yeah, I guess it's tough. I mean, he was the dad in Rogue One, right? He was Urso's dad, Jyn Urso's dad.
Yeah, but what's he most famous for? Fucking Hannibal Lecter.
Yeah, James Bond, the bad guy in James Bond.
Yeah.
The bad guy in Doctor Strange.
Right.
The bad guy in Fantastic Beasts.
The guy in The Hunt who gets accused of rape.
But he is innocent, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I never saw Another Round. That's one I want to see.
That's a fun movie.
Yeah, he's like just a normal guy there, right?
Yeah, pretty much. But I'll tell you, like he's got a crazy face and a crazy voice. Like there's only so many roles you can give to Mads Mikkelsen. I think he's a great actor.
I'm a little bored with him, I'll be honest.
Well, because I think he fucking walks through these big budget roles. Like when you watch him in something like Another Round or The Hunt or Hannibal, like he's really on and he's great. Or even the Pusher franchise that Henry and I did. Yeah. But But yeah, I think I first got this when Doctor Strange came out. I was like, it seems like he's sleepwalking through this role, and I kind of felt that way here too.
Yeah. But anyway, should we start with the director, James Mangold? We ranked all of his films.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. They say he's made 12 of them according to my count.
Yeah, Logan's seen all of them now.
Yeah. Were you too?
Yeah, I've seen all 12. I'm a Mangold completist, gang.
Yeah, look at us. Do you want to go first or you want to go second?
Oh, you want to go like that? I'll
I mean,
go
you want to
for.
go 12-1? You go and then I go?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, go.
Number 12, the worst thing he ever made, Kate and Leopold. All right. It cemented his relationship with Hugh Jackman. That's the best thing I could say for it. Um, but it's a shitty rom-com, and there's shitty time travel in it, much like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
I thought that was
Uh,
the only cool part of this movie.
no, I wasn't into it.
By the way, Kate and Leopold, also Liev Schreiber, the saber tooth.
Yeah, I forgot that.
That was
You just
cool.
watched it this morning, so it's very fresh in your mind.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, number 11, I'm going to say Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. All right. Number 10, Night and Day. That's like
Yeah.
an action movie he did with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. I didn't watch it at the time. I feel like people didn't like it at the time, but I watched it years later and I was like, it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I kind of think I didn't like it at the time, but if I watched it today, I would like it.
Yeah.
But I
At
haven't
least
seen
it's
it in
like
a
an
long time.
original movie. No one's making those anymore.
Yeah, with Tom Cruise and Cameron Diaz. That's fun.
Yeah. Number 9, I'll say The Wolverine. I mean, you said it. It gets dumber as it goes along, but it's got some good sequences. I like the train sequence in that one.
Sure.
All right, 8, Walk the Line.
Well,
Should that be higher?
that seems a little low.
All right. Well, I like Walk the Line. It's Joaquin and Reese, they're both good in it. And I rewatched it at Bonnaroo one year. They were showing it in the movie tent at Bonnaroo. I went in there and I watched
The whole thing?
Maybe not the whole thing, but a lot of it.
Wow.
Yeah. All right. Number 7, Identity.
Stupid.
I think most people would have walked the line ahead of that, but I fucking love Identity. What do you mean stupid?
That is so low.
Come on, that's correct.
All right. Okay.
All right, 6, Copland. That was his big breakthrough. Henry loves that movie. Number 5, Ford v Ferrari. You got a lot of Oscar attention for that one. Apparently, Harrison Ford was offered a role in that one. That was like the first time they interacted. Number 4, Heavy. That's his first film. It's an indie with Liv Tyler. I think it's kind of an almost great movie. Pruitt Taylor Vince is great in it. I think Liv Tyler isn't a very good actor.
No, is it better with Parker Posey? I saw your review and I was thinking,
Bro, put Parker
Parker Posey.
Posey in that movie. That's a potential 5.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
All right, number 3, Logan. Most Mangold lists I see have that at number 1, and I understand why. It's pretty great movie. Hey, they got the villain from that one back in this one. Did you notice?
The villain from Logan. Oh, Boyd Holbrook. Yeah,
Yeah, Boyd Holbrook.
he was in one of our favorite movies of last year. Remember? And he was funny in it. Remember what I'm talking about?
What? No.
Vengeance.
Oh, that's right. He was good in that.
He was the brother in that family. I think.
Yeah,
Very funny. Do
absolutely.
you remember who the mom was in that family?
No.
It was Jerry from Succession.
Oh, sure.
Very cool.
All right, number 2 on the list is 3:10 to Yuma, the remake of that. I think that's a great movie. Russell Crowe is incredible in that fucking movie. Charisma up the wazoo. And my favorite that he's done is Girl Interrupted. Now, I haven't seen it in a
Wow.
long time. Logan watched it like just now, and I feel like he wasn't that into it. But I I watched it a lot when it came out. I owned it on VHS, and I read the book that was like after I saw the movie. I was like, I gotta read the book, and
I've never
I,
ever done that.
yeah, I know, and I think with just Winona Ryder and fucking Angelina Jolie are pretty incredible in that.
Some of the other characters, one of the problems, there's like one character whose only purpose is to tell us what's going on. They're like, wow, that person is coming back. The cops caught that person, and then like a few scenes
All right.
later, that person will show up again, and it's like, well, we're doing this to celebrate Gracie's last day, and then she'll just walk by, and then it's like, well, we're doing. It's just like it's too many of things like that, and I thought pretty
Yeah,
weak ending.
the book is not a narrative, is the thing. It's like a series of short stories about like Susanna Kayson's time in that mental hospital. So I do think they struggled like making it a narrative movie with like an ebb and flow. But I mean, come on, you got Brittany Murphy and young Elizabeth Moss. It's great.
Yeah. Um, I I like the way he directs to the edit, which he does, I think, even better in Identity. But he does it a lot in Girl Interrupted, where because it cuts back from like her in the asylum to then her like beforehand or whatever, and so she'll just be sitting there, and then she'll hear a dog. Like they'll cut in the audio of the dog barking from the next scene, but she'll react and look off screen like she's
Mm.
reacting to something, and they do that a few times, and I think that's really cool. But all right, so that's your number one, Girl Interrupted.
Yeah, but I like what you said before we started recording. Like James Mangold is a guy. He's consistent. He's really good director. He's got a ton of like 4s and 3s, but like he's yet to make that one. Like the really standout movie that's like, oh, this guy.
You know what
You
he's doing
know,
next?
Indiana Jones 6.
No, a new Star Wars movie.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I know.
This is so frustrating to find this shit out because it takes years to make a movie. And then it's just like, all right, so I guess I'm not going to get an actual movie by this guy I like for another like fucking 7 years. I mean, Greta Gerwig, like would you say she's directing
Narnia.
Narnia? I mean,
Two of them, I think.
I loved Frances Ha and I loved Lady Bird and then they announced she's doing Barbie, and I was like, good for her. She'll make some money. Like, but then, I hope then she'll go back and make a movie I give a shit about. And no, she'll make more money.
Yeah, and
Money.
it's for they're Netflix movies too, I think. Narnia
Wait,
Netflix movies.
She's making like the whole trilogy or whatever.
I think she's making 2 Narnia movies. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but that's what I saw for Netflix.
I think there's actually 7 in that franchise. I mean, the books.
Okay. Well, maybe she's just taking the first 3 movies, putting them into 2. I don't know. But
I don't know. I don't want it.
Me either, but it's what we're getting, so we better enjoy it. We'll cover it when they come out, right?
Yeah, I guess.
All right, here, I'm going to rank all 12 of them. Number 12, Kate and Leopold. Number 11, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Number 10, The Wolverine. Number 9, Night and Day. I swapped those like the way you did. 8, Heavy, his very first film. It was so weird because I got home from watching Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, his most recent film that just came out last week. And then I put on Heavy, his first film. And it was fucking crazy. All right, number 7, your favorite one, Girl Interrupted. Very sorry, but he's made some good movies. 6, Walk the Line. 5, Copland. What a cast. 4, 3:10 to Yuma. Haven't seen that one in a long time. Maybe it would be ahead of this one, which I saw more recently. Number 3, Ford v Ferrari. Great dad movie. He makes a lot of dad movies, I guess, right? A lot of these.
Yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. There was not a person younger than me in the crowd. There's no way. I had to have been the youngest person. Everybody was so old.
It was kind of that way in my theater.
That's why it's
too.
not
Like,
making money.
Yeah,
For old
you're right.
people.
You're right. I didn't see any kids going to see it. Maybe that's what they got right about Shia. in that earlier. Like kids wanted to see Shia back then. He had just done Disturbia and Eagle Eye and Transformers. Like he was a star. People were into Shia.
I
And
was, yeah.
and now they got nothing. Like nobody's going to the theaters to see fucking Fleabag.
No. I thought she was really good though. But
I did too. I got no beef with her, but like that's not drawing kids into the theater.
no, absolutely not. Number 2, Logan, and number 1, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. Identity. Fucking awesome.
Oh my
movie.
God.
I feel like you don't even remember the cool parts about this movie. Like one time I talked to you about how Gary Busey's kid like dies and then disappears, and there's like the baseball bat sticking out of where his body was, and you were like, "What are you talking about?" And there's so much cool stuff like that in this movie that
But it's
I
really
just love.
stupid. That's the
No,
thing.
it's not.
It's incredibly stupid.
I disagree. I disagree. Can I say something I've been meaning to say since the Lego movie episode?
Mm-hmm.
The Lego movie plays like Identity. If you've seen Identity and you've seen the Lego movie, you know what I'm talking about. But I don't want to spoil Identity because I think it's so cool. But another great performance from that heavy guy, right? He's pretty good.
Yeah. Pruitt Taylor Vince again. Yeah.
Turns out his eyes
Crucial
just do
role.
that all the time.
I know. I've said that.
I know, I was joking. But there you go.
Yeah.
There we watched them all. So there you go. 12-1. Check out
Boom.
Identity. Anyway, let's talk
All
about
right,
Indiana Jones.
Back to Indiana. So we talked about the opening, which was fucking horrible. And then it goes to 1969. And he's teaching at Hunter College.
I popped so hard, Daniel.
Really? You recognized that it was my school?
100%. They said Hunter at one point, and I was like, "What? Hunter?" And then I waited again for confirmation, and they said it again. Yeah.
I had the same fucking reaction, dude. I was like, I heard it the first time, and I was like, "There's no fucking way he just said Hunter College."
Yeah, but it was Hunter College. It was so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Shout out to Hunter. We've got all the great alums. Professor Indiana Jones taught there. Vin Diesel graduated from there. Ed Burns. All right. The guy who directed Sharknado went to
Really?
Hunter College High School.
Oh.
There's a Hunter College High School.
Wouldn't that just be
Yeah.
Hunter High School?
Yeah, but it's called Hunter College High School. It's weird.
Oh my gosh, that is weird.
I know. All right, so he's teaching there. I did like the scene a lot where he's teaching and nobody gives a shit, because which Indiana Jones movie is it where everyone's like mooning over him?
That's the first
Like, so
one. She
that's
says,
Raiders.
"Love you on the eyelids."
Yes, love you on the eyelids is so funny to me. And so it was fun. So he's just like an old fuck now. Nobody wants to fuck him. Of course, that's not true because when I went to Hunter College, an 80-year-old named Professor Joel Zucker fucked my girlfriend. So what are you gonna do?
That's hilarious. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I enjoyed this too. And you brought up how old he was, but there's a scene early in his apartment where he's shirtless, and I thought he looked great, to be honest.
Are you insane?
No.
Like, in that scene when he's shirtless, I thought they were like he can't look that bad. Like they must be trying to make him look worse, just to like accentuate how old
come
he
on.
is.
No, I thought he kept it up pretty great.
He looked like it broken down. It was shocking to me. I was like, oh my God, that's what Harrison Ford looks
but think
like.
about like
shirtless
the
now? I started to think about Callista Flockhart. Like, how does she get wet over this dude still?
but he looks better than like a Mickey Rourke or Stallone or like some of those other guys. No,
absolutely not. I think both Mickey Rourke and Stallone look
Mickey
better.
Rourke looks better than Harrison Ford.
Well, look, I mean, in terms of like his body, like not facially, but in terms of like the build, sure.
I don't know about that, but if you say so.
I mean, I guess Randy the Ram, that was like 15 years ago now. But so I haven't seen Mickey Rourke's torso in a bit. So I maybe I shouldn't be commenting.
Yeah.
But no, I thought he looked fucking insane.
I didn't think so. I really didn't.
And then he's trying to get those kids to turn down Magical Mystery Tour, banging on the door. Fuck, hey, god damn it.
Yeah.
And we see the separation papers from Marion, which made me sad. I'm like, god damn it. I watched Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. They end up together at the end of that movie. It's nice.
You know what it reminded me of?
What?
Dewey.
I thought about that too, dude.
But
Yeah.
at least Indiana Jones retires and doesn't get fired from the Force, right? That's a difference. And again, he doesn't die also like Dewey. But yeah.
Yeah, but no, I thought even like Scream 2 into 3, dude, because
Yeah.
like they end up together at the end of 2 and then 3 starts. It's like they hate each other again already.
Right.
It's the exact same dynamic as in 2. All right. Tell me what else. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Let's talk about her. You said you loved her.
Yeah, I thought she was a big standout. I never seen Fleabag. Have you? You a fan of that?
No, I actually haven't. It's like
Well.
one of the most important TV shows of the last 20 years. Probably the most important TV show I have not watched.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But I've seen her in other shit, and I've liked her in other shit, and she's a good actor. I heard that Mangold wrote this part for her.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. The movie has four writing credits. One of them's David Koepp, who worked on the film for like years when Spielberg was supposed to be directing. And then Mangold brought in the Butterworths. It's the people he wrote Ford v Ferrari with.
Yeah. Well, great job on that one.
Great. Can you help me out? What do you want?
Sorry, I got distracted. Tim texted us.
I texted him back.
Okay.
So Phoebe Waller-Bridge, I do think that she's great. She has great chemistry with Harrison Ford. Really good acting chemistry. I think they snap off each other really well. Probably the best female foil for him in any movie since Karen Allen was introduced. In fact, I thought they had romantic chemistry in a couple scenes, and I was like, I hope it doesn't go that way.
I never thought that.
She's his goddaughter.
I didn't think that. I like that she was like I guess they're just doing the reversal thing, how like she's a woman who's like always hitting on the guys like he used to do. How she like she's a man at one point and she's like, ooh, he's a sexy man, right?
That is ooh. I think she worked not as well in the action stuff.
I don't think this movie works that much in the action stuff. I was so bored most of the action.
I was too,
throughout most of this movie.
Usually, like you wait for like a boring part to go to the bathroom.
I never went.
Well, I did. I had to pee at one point, and I went during an action sequence.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a I went to the bathroom. It was during the scene where they're like trying to catch them in that little car in the streets.
Oh, that's
wherever.
The worst one.
And I was like, let me just go to the bathroom. And when I came back, nothing had changed. They were still in the fucking car, like riding around. And I was like, all right, I picked the right time.
Yeah, that's the worst action scene in the movie. Like we talked about the horse one, that one's pretty good.
That's great. The horse through the subway I thought was cool. Getting chased by subway trains and switching tracks and shit.
Yeah.
That's fun as hell.
Cool. That was cool. But the one where they go underwater, I wasn't into that one so much.
I was okay
Banderas.
with that one. It was fun to see Antonio Banderas. Did you notice that he's fucking third build in this movie?
I did. I think that should be Mads Mikkelsen, right?
Well, he got the and credit.
Oh, I thought you meant on IMDb.
No, I pay attention to the creds. It was wild because like it's starring Harrison Ford, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, makes sense. Third build, you got Antonio Banderas, who's in about 2 scenes, and fourth build, Karen Allen, who's in fucking 1 scene.
But who else do you go with? I feel like it's do you go Toby Jones?
I would put Toby Jones ahead of them. Yeah.
Okay. What about that little kid? We haven't talked about the little
kid. Maybe. Yeah.
Teddy.
I fucking hated this kid.
Yeah, I knew that you would. Who loves this kid? Anybody?
No, Indiana Jones has a history of this. It's like, let's put an annoying fucking kid in these movies. A lot of people have nostalgia for Short Round.
I expected him.
Yeah, I kind of did too. Like that
I was
actor's back on
surprised.
top. Throw him in there. They threw in Jonathan Rhys Davies.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
People in my
crowd
theater.
pop.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. They loved him so much.
Yeah.
They thought he was really
Yeah.
funny too.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah,
I
every
didn't-
line they were dying.
I didn't really hear people in my theater once. It was a pretty sparse crowd on a 4th of July afternoon. But when Jonathan Rhys Davies showed up on screen, there was an audible pop.
When Karen Allen showed up, it felt like people did it out of obligation, kind of. I feel like we're at the end of this like legacy character things. This one felt not that because I wanted to see them end up happy, I guess. But I think people are understanding also, like even normal crowds, they're like, do we have to like react right now? I don't know. I'm not into that.
I did think that was a beautiful scene between the two of them.
Yeah, it was nice.
They're so good together, Harrison Ford and Karen Allen. That like I mean I popped harder for that than I had in anything in the movie in probably like 45 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, there are huge stretches, and then they're like, he tells a story like Mutt died, and I'm like, oh, all right, here's something that's I feel like nothing's happened in 45 minutes here. Let me like readjust to my seat. Something interesting's happening, and there were huge stretches of that. You're right about that.
You know, I spent the whole movie. I didn't even clock that it was Mutt that died. Like they talk about their son dying, and
That was Kylo Ren.
After the movie, I turned to Dallas. I was like, "Where was fucking Mutt in this movie?" And she was like, "He died." I was like, "What are you talking about? His son died." And Dallas had to remind me that Mutt was his son.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, well, there is one part that I sort of liked where he early on in the movie he has a picture of her face on the fridge and he covers it up with a magnet.
Yeah.
And then later he uncovers it, and I liked both moments. Like individually, I liked the first one, but then when it came back, I liked it also.
He does it surreptitiously because she's there in the kitchen. He's
Loved
like,
it. Walks over there, just takes it off. And I want to bring up actually in Heavy, there's a part in Heavy where the Heavy guy from Identity has a photo of Liv Tyler on his fridge, and I thought that was fucking crazy. He did that in his very first movie. That's the thing he brings back in this movie. But I guess maybe that's a thing he likes. Pictures.
Yeah, Mangold has in chronological order every woman he's ever fucked just on his fridge.
All 4 of them right there in order. Yeah, and there's another part in this one. They talk about they at the end when they time travel, because the whole thing is like they didn't take into account continental drift and how the time changed over, or how the land changed over the course of time. So they actually end up going to like a different time. The siege of Syracuse is what it is. And in Heavy, there are like a few different moments where she's talking about Syracuse. It was just weird.
Yeah,
when I went back and watched
Syracuse, New York.
I know, obviously, but maybe he picked this war though. I'm saying because it has Syracuse.
Maybe he's got like, he really does have some like recurring themes.
He loves westerns,
train fights,
trains, westerns,
yeah.
Pictures on the fridge, and Syracuse. That's his Mount Rushmore. And Hugh Jackman. He loves Hugh Jackman.
He loves Hugh. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, he produced that Call of the Wild movie with the cartoon dog, so he had worked with Harrison there before.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. All right. What else you got?
What else do I got? Well, I feel like we haven't really talked about the kid enough. I thought it was fucking crazy at the end of the movie when he was like, when she was like, can you fly that plane? He's like, I've never flown that type of plane. And she's like, you never flown any plane. And then he just takes off in the plane in the middle of a storm, flies it. I don't want to say perfectly fine, because they go through that little time travel thing and things go crazy. Also, he does get a little help, I think, by like a guy in the back, but not really. Like this little 10-year-old flies I thought that was fucking crazy.
It reminded me of that scene in 2012 when they're like, "Hey, Amanda Peet, your new husband, like they're like, we have to get up in this plane, but we don't know a pilot. The pilot's dead. And Amanda Pete's like, my new husband took a flying class once.
That's better
And then
than
he gets
this.
into the plane and he tried. I know it actually is. It makes slightly more sense than this.
Yeah, it does. But I did like one part actually where the kid he swims underwater and he handcuffs a guy to a thing underwater. Like that guy died. That little kid murdered that guy with handcuffs. Do you remember that scene at all? I thought
I don't remember.
that was really cool. That like I like thought about that for minutes later. I was like, God damn, that's a terrible way to go. But I thought that was kind of cool. You didn't like the end? Where they go back, they tries to kill Hitler, but then they go back to the wrong time, and they're like
I thought
dragons.
that
They think the planes
okay.
are dragons.
I thought the plane stuff was good. Like when they go through the port, like I have no problem with them going back in time. First of all, Indiana Jones does crazy shit all the time that doesn't make sense. So he goes through that like fissure in time. And I thought the stuff with the airplane chase back in time was cool, where they're like shooting shit. And I liked how they shot that one thing and it goes through the wall of the plane, and Harrison Ford's able to like cut his reins loose with it.
Yeah.
But all this stuff like back on land where it's like Harrison Ford talking to Archimedes and saying he wants to stay back in time, fucking lose it.
Yeah. This movie, my initial review for this movie was Indiana Jones and the Rise of Skywalker, but then I changed it because I didn't want people to like think I hated this or whatever. But this movie feels a lot like the Rise of Skywalker. There's like a thing that you need. You go to this place. You go to this place. You go to this place. There's the bad guy following you. You gotta.
Yeah, well, that's
escape.
every Indiana Jones movie. There's a MacGuffin, and he has to
But
go find it.
this one was a lot though. There were like it's 2.5 hours long. There are like 5 or 6 action scenes when there should be like I think there are too many action scenes. And the movie take out the first one. I think that's the problem. I think the first part of the movie is 30 whole minutes that sets you off on the wrong foot.
Yeah, that's worthless.
Completely. Yeah. I don't know. But
I just anytime someone in a movie is like, I think I'm gonna stay back here in this time period, I just feel like we're at the end of the movie. Get me the fuck. They're not staying back there. We just watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 3. I had the same problem. Fucking, who is it? Michelangelo or Raphael that wants to stay in the past to that one?
I think we thought it should be Raphael because he likes the little kid, but then Michelangelo suddenly wants to.
Yeah. So Michelangelo, and I'm watching that movie even as a kid, going like they're obviously not keeping Michelangelo in feudal Japan.
But Mangold has done this before. He brought in Kate and Leopold. She does stay back in time.
Yeah, but that's because like that whole movie's a love story. It has to end with both of them being in the same time together.
I'm just saying it does happen from this director before. So don't say it will never happen.
But like you thought they were going to end the Indiana Jones franchise by Indiana Jones staying at the War of Syracuse or whatever?
No, the Siege of Syracuse. No, I didn't. But I like the punchline of that scene where she's like, "Shut the fuck up," and she punches him. And I thought that was pretty good.
I know, but you gotta sit through. Yeah, just leave me.
Like, I agree with you.
I'm trying to get out of the theater. All right.
I agree.
All right.
All right. It's too long. I didn't think it looked good. I do think it got better as it went along, though, which is good for the movie. I thought the leads were good. Harrison and Phoebe.
Yeah, Harrison and Phoebe.
Yeah, they were good.
First name basis.
You know what I didn't like?
Yeah,
the music. I thought it was completely out of place. They just played it whenever the hell they wanted to.
John Williams does the score, obviously. And I just thought it never shut the fuck up.
Yep.
It was constant. And yeah, it was like it would be kind of a dark moment, and then they'd play like dum da dum dum, and I'd be like, what?
Yeah, no, you're right. I thought that it was terrible, to be honest. I hated it.
Yeah. I thought it was pretty bad myself. I even made a joke. It's just so John Williamsy. When they showed like music by John Williams at the end, I was like, "Thanks for telling me."
There were, by the way, like I heard some Star Wars sound effects. Did you ever? There were like some of the ship sound effects were like in the plane at the end. There were some, maybe there was a Wilhelm at one point. I don't remember.
I didn't
But
notice, but I
I
mean,
definitely
maybe
heard some ship sounds.
maybe Lucasfilm has like a library of sound.
Oh, they
effects.
100%. Yeah, they do. That's
Yeah.
what they do. Um, I don't know. But there were certain stretches where I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it through this. I really felt that.
You thought you were
And
gonna walk out of the movie?
I thought I was gonna fall asleep. I was like, "Wait, am I gonna really be awake for another hour and 40 minutes of this?" It's like, I don't know, but I made it through. I made it through all right.
Congratulations. I did like that. Nazis. Like, there's a moment where Phoebe Waller-Bridge, like a Nazi's like dangling from the plane, and he's like, "Pull me up," and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is like, "No, you're a Nazi."
Yeah,
And I was
that
like,
too.
"Yeah, fuck Nazis." Like, we shouldn't be scared to just say Nazis deserve to die because they're Nazis.
But they are the people that if you say that to them, they will kill you.
I know, and they're also probably 50% of the voting public right now in America.
Yeah, 50% are Nazis. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's right.
All right, gang. What do you give this movie?
I get it too.
Yeah, same. Who's your MVP?
All right, well, who are you? You go first.
Harrison Ford.
Okay, I'll go Phoebe Waller-Bridge then. I didn't want
Okay.
to do the same thing. I wanted us to each pick one of them.
All right. Who's your LVP?
Teddy.
Is that the kid?
Yep.
Agreed. Fuck that kid.
Yep. Sorry, Teddy. Oh, and they like, I couldn't tell if he was 11 or 15. He had like the stupidest mustache I've ever seen. Like, tell that little boy to shave his mustache.
Yeah. You look like Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, so stupid.
Yeah. All right. So that's the movie. And it's the fourth best one, right? Like better than Crystal Skull, but not
Sure.
as good as what either you put Temple of Doom or Last Crusade in the third
I would
slot.
say so.